So I'm just going to go straight into the third question. I think you've given us enough of your own personal background, the things that have shaped you, the kind of lessons you've carried on, some things that keep resonating in different ways, either in our country or in your own life personally. So the third question I have is specifically around training, educating and learning around young professionals, older students, and matured students in general. In your experience training individuals that are slightly more mature, so outside of the high school age group, what have you found generally slows down their progress? So you could speak to any blind spots that you often pick up on that they have, issues maybe around self-awareness, or they generally their approach to learning. So are there any things that kind of you found typically slow down more mature students in their process of, I guess, higher education?
Having worked with people that I have to encourage to go to school, because as a person who was leading the organization, where I found skills very limited, was a bit of an upslope to try and encourage them go to school. We first ran a short program, took them to the Human Sciences Research Council. Ultimately, we joined Statomet when Professor Stoker left HSRC. And then we negotiated, Professor Kaimbara and I, that Professor Stoker, Professor Krauser, may their souls rest in peace, Professor Smith, Dion Herbst, who is my friend. They used to come to Botswana, to Mabatu, to come and spend a week there, taking our staff through survey methods. In the 91, 92. And by 94, we had a cadre of people that were very useful in the transformation. But some of them were refusing to go for training. And then, of course, I'm glad to say that this team that I started with in Botswana, one of them retired recently. And I sent a note after retirement. I said, come and join me. There's some task we should handle. I said, well, I'm so busy now, I can't. But she became a chief director. And after she went through a degree program, the other who also retired is a director. That was my team that had only matric. But it was through my efforts that they had to go to school. But the entire 30 of them actually went through this program. And a number of them acquired their degrees. I think it's fear of failure or failing. That's one thing. You go to school and you are afraid that you will fail, and you are attending school with your own children, and now you fail. How do you explain yourself? One. Home commitments that can be massive. Is really another. And of course, some of them you are in class with, and others actually exile because they are mature. They know what they need. They don't have time for alcohol and the like. While others actually have more time for alcohol.
That is true.
So when I was at STSA, a number of blacks, the STSA was a white institution. So I come in and lead the census. And the census was substantively black. And being substantively black, you bring this institution that is black, that doesn't have many people as graduates. And once I became the statistician general, my first thing was to take people to school, not in South Africa, and not in Europe or the US, but in the rest of the continent of Africa, so that we have to understand. And more importantly, for us to understand that these outward trappings we have are not what should make us. And once you are sitting with those fellow Africans there, and you are failing yourself, then you know that those trappings are not very useful for you. And it was very good for them. But these were people who were married with family and so on. It was very difficult to, even though we were paying them their salaries, and they still found it very difficult because of the commitments back at home. Including when I started at the Center for Cruz Center for Regional and Urban Innovation and Statistical Exploration at Stellenbosch, where my deputies, who were already much more in their 50s, I had to select them and say, you are going to that program. You like it or not. So when you instruct people like that. And why I did that was because getting to those people at the top echelon influence the rest at the bottom and catch faster what needs to be done. So that innovation was yielded results hitherto yet to be reaped and continue to be reaped.
Fantastic.
So I haven't taught people in class, but I've managed programs where I found encouraging people to go and study important. And these were the things that I saw. And one of the things that I used to say was, only when there is a family matter, you may refuse. You may have the right to say no to go to school. But other than that, nothing.